evening, I'm Dylan Cameron, and welcome to ABC News. Early on, U.S. President Dwight Eisenhower understood how productive intelligence gathered by aircraft would be. In late 1955, he was presented with pictures taken by a U-2 flying over San Diego and pictures of one of his favorite golf courses there. They were amazingly detailed and clear. Although U.S. radar operators had been warned of the San Diego flight, they were unable to successfully track the aircraft. Impressed by this information, Eisenhower ordered reconnaissance flights over the Soviet Union. If the flights were detected, U-2 pilots would claim to be conducting high-altitude meteorological studies. In truth, however, their mission was to photograph Soviet military bases, weapons stockpiles, missile launch test sites under construction, and Soviet industries. The U-2 flights over the Soviet Union did not go undetected. The Soviets soon knew the U-2's speed, altitude, and range, but they did not know about the superb photographic abilities of the plane. The Soviets protested, but with their air defense missile systems reaching only 60,000 feet, there was little they could do. The U-2 flights revealed Soviet missile capacity, information that helped Eisenhower in planning U.S. military strategy. Today, pilot Francis Gary Powers took off from Pakistan on a U-2 Soviet overflight. Tracked immediately by radar, the U-2 came over the Ural Mountains. With their new S-75 anti-aircraft defenses, the Soviets shot down the U-2. Powers was recovered alive, along with the U-2 cameras. At first, Eisenhower used the pre-planned excuse that the pilot was conducting weather studies for the United States. But presented with clear evidence to the contrary, Eisenhower admitted that it was an espionage flight. However, he refused to apologize or say that there would be no further spy flights. Outraged, Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev did not come to an upcoming U.S.-Soviet summit. Relations between the two Cold War adversaries plummet to new lows. Powers was sentenced to 10 years in prison. The U-2 will remain an important tool in U.S. intelligence gathering. It was a U-2 that took vitally important pictures of Soviet nuclear missiles being placed in Cuba. The photographs led to a chilling encounter between the United States and the Soviet Union, a standoff that brought the world to the brink of a nuclear war. Without the photos, the United States would be unaware of any potential danger very close to home. 1 month ago, Sputnik 1 successfully launched and entered Earth's orbit, thus beginning the space age. The successful launch shocked the world, giving the former Soviet Union the distinction of putting the first human-made object into space. Its small, basketball-like size impressed many around the world. In addition, the public feared that the Soviets' ability to launch satellites also translated into the capability of launching ballistic missiles that could carry nuclear weapons from Europe to the United States. This historic image shows a technician putting the finishing touches on Sputnik 1, humanity's first artificial satellite. The pressurized sphere made of aluminum alloy had 5 primary scientific objectives: test the method of placing an artificial satellite into Earth orbit, provide information on the density of the atmosphere by calculating its lifetime in orbit, test radio and optical methods of orbital tracking, determine the effects of radio wave propagation through the atmosphere, and track principles of pressurization used on the satellites. Sputnik 1 orbited Earth every 98 minutes, sending back a beeping signal for 23 days. Later this week, the second spacecraft, Sputnik 2, launched into Earth orbit, and it's the first biological spacecraft. It's a 4-meter-high cone-shaped capsule with a base diameter of 2 meters. It contains several compartments of radio transmitters, a telemetry system, a programming unit, a regeneration and temperature control system for the cabin, and scientific instruments. A separate sealed cabin contains an experimental dog named Laika. Engineering and biological data are transmitted using the Trial-D telemetry system, which transmits data to Earth for 15 minutes of each orbit. 2 spectrophotometers are on board for measuring solar radiation, such as ultraviolet and X-ray emissions, as well as cosmic rays. A television camera is mounted in the passenger compartment to observe Laika.
Introducing Macintosh. It does all the things you'd expect a business computer to do. It does a lot of things you wouldn't expect a business computer to do. And it does some things no other business computer has ever done before. Of course, to do all this, you will have to learn to do this. Macintosh from Apple.
Pitting the two Missouri teams against one another, the '85 Fall Classic was known alternatively as the I-70 Series and the Show Me Series. The series opened in Kansas City, but St. Louis captured a taut 3-1 decision as the Royals missed a number of excellent scoring chances. The Cardinals won again the next night, scoring 4 times in the 9th inning after being shut out the previous 8. Casey's only 2 runs came in the 4th. With the World Series shifting to St. Louis for Game 3, American League Cy Young winner Brett Saberhagen tossed a complete game 6-hitter, and second baseman Frank White knocked in 3 runs to give the Royals a 6-1 victory. Cardinal ace John Tudor topped Kansas City in Game 4, however, with a 5-hit shutout for a 3-0 decision and a second win of the series. The Royals staved off elimination in Game 5, winning 6-1 behind the 5-hit pitching of Danny Jackson. Game 6 won't soon be forgotten by fans of either team. After several scoreless innings, the Cardinals eked out a run in the 8th, so the Royals still trailed 1-0 when they came up in the bottom of the 9th. Pinch hitter Jorge Orta led off with a slow roller to first baseman Jack Clark, who tossed to reliever Todd Worrell at the bag, apparently in. Time to retire Orta, but umpire Don Denkinger called Orta safe. 1 missed pop foul, 2 singles, 1 out, and an intentional walk later, pinch hitter Dane Iyer drove a soft liner to right field, scoring Onyx Concepcion and Jim Sunderberg with the tying and winning runs. Game 7 featured both teams' aces, Tudor and Saberhagen. But while Saberhagen had his good stuff, Tudor didn't. In the bottom of the second, Royals right fielder Darryl Motley slugged a 2-run homer down the left field line, and the rout was on. The Cardinals went through 7 pitchers to no avail as Kansas City scored 11 runs and Saberhagen tossed a 5-hit shutout, giving the Royals their first World Series title. The USSR spurred the space age when they launched Sputnik 1. America has been hard at work to create a space program since then. Dwight Eisenhower sent a draft legislation to Congress that would establish the National Aeronautics and Space Agency, or NASA for short. There was lots of controversy on whether the space program should be joined in with another organization. Many thought NACA would be the official agency, but scientists disagreed, knowing that NACA, the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, would be too lazy with the oncoming of events the space program wanted to accomplish. On August 19th, T. Keith Glennon was sworn in as NASA's first administrator. NASA will formally open on October 1st. There are many goals NASA would like to get completed. NASA announced in Section 201 of the Space Act that they would do with the new program. These are some of NASA's goals: expansion of human knowledge of the atmosphere and space, improvement of usefulness, performance, speed, safety, and efficiency of vehicles, development and operation of vehicles capable of carrying living organisms, equipment, and supplies through space, establish of long-range studies of benefits that could be gained from aeronautical and space activities, achieve and keep the U.S. as the world leader in aeronautical and space science, making information available to agencies concerned with national security. Science fiction fans and movie buffs in general had a cause to celebrate when 20th Century Fox released George Lucas's Space Odyssey, Star Wars. After Lucas's second feature film, American Graffiti, became a hit, Fox agreed to put up $9.5 million for the writer-director's next project. After 4 years in production, including location shots in Tunisia and Death Valley, California, Star Wars was ready for its release. Its relatively unknown cast, featuring Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, who teams with the roguish Han Solo, played by Harrison Ford, to rescue Princess Leia, played by Carrie Fisher, from captivity on a space station commanded by the menacing Darth Vader, voiced by James Earl Jones. The alien creatures, massive space station, elaborate space battles, and other special effects came courtesy of Lucas's company, Industrial Light and Magic. Though Fox released Star Wars in only 42 theaters, it primed its target audience of science fiction fans with a massive publicity campaign. By the end of its first week, the film had made $3 million, and by the end of the summer, it would break in some $100 million. Adjusting for inflation, its box office haul was second only to Gone with the Wind. In addition to its commercial success, Star Wars was well received by critics and was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. It won in 6 categories, mostly technical, and received an additional Oscar for Special Achievement in Sound Editing. The success of Star Wars was credited with reviving the science fiction film genre, which had previously been considered highly unprofitable, and, along with Steven Spielberg's 1975 hit Jaws, with introducing the concept of the summer blockbuster. It also sparked a Hollywood trend away from smaller films and toward big-budget action movies targeted at younger audiences. Lucas would follow up on the success of his hit movie with 2 sequels, The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, fueling a huge marketing juggernaut that included clothing, toys, videos, and other merchandise.